good. Some of the stragglers will have to work their way up here near the tail. Here they come rolling around. It is kind of slow coming up, but we are underway. Green flag is out. Green, green, green. Racing in USF Pro 2004 wide. Why not? Almost contact there further back with Liam McNeely. Will they get through cleanly? Max Garcia, not the aggressive driver he was, of course, with that championship already locked down. He's probably back into the P4 position, but we potentially could go too wide behind your leader, DeTulio. Here comes Max Taylor on the outside as well. He'll move from drivers right to left. He's going to try to potentially go around the outside. We're too deep all the way around. It is Garcia down to the bottom. Maybe a little contact there. Garcia trying to battle it out here with Max Taylor. Taylor with nothing to lose. He's going to throw the inside. That's Garcia. That is Garcia around. He's going to back it up, though. He wants to keep this streak going and finish in every race. Garcia, I want to say potential contact with he and Taylor, as they did not want to give each other any room whatsoever coming up through turn number 4. We'll see whether or not Garcia is able to continue, whether there's any damage. There is Ariel Elkin pushing hard to find a way around as well. Matt Clark's got a bunch of spots early. Clark has got some great positioning. One driver coming into pit lane, wing damage there. That's Joey Brienza, I believe, with wing damage. Todd, the opening lap, ready to go in the books.
All right, so Alessandro DeTulio will continue to lead them as they complete lap number 2 here. And then the shakeup begins with Frankie Mossman, who comes across in second. Max Taylor, Liam McNeely, and Jacob Douglas round out the top 5. But what did Max Garcia yesterday say to you in your post-race interview? Is I kept going, kept being aggressive, because when you aren't aggressive, that's when you have trouble. That's when you can find the wall. He was very passive going into quarter number 1, got way wide left, trying to leave the trouble out of the way. It wound up costing him.
And there's another brake lockup for Liam McNeely. That was one of his issues yesterday, locked the brake up, and that thing was down to the cords by the time I saw it back in the paddock. I will say this, Max Garcia does come across the line to finish lap number 2, so he remains on the racetrack, so there is an opportunity. If he keeps running here waiting for a yellow, he's going to keep that streak alive of running all the laps. This will be his first finish outside, very likely outside the top 4. He needed a bunch of yellows to work his way up here, but again, the stress is off for Max Garcia, battling it out there with Max Taylor coming up through turn number 3 and 4. Likely contact there. Kind of was out of our camera vision to see what was happening. Otherwise, we're getting the opening laps in. Alessandro DeTulio is out front. Frankie Mossman, what did I say in the pre-show and the driver introductions? That guy was going to be on the move in a big way. He's looking for a result to kind of put some positive spin on the year here now, and he is digging, worked his way up to P2. Liam McNeely hustling, as we know. But as I said before, with Liam McNeely, a little lockup already. We're going to keep an eye on him coming in to the braking zone of turn 3, Todd. He struggled with that in a big time yesterday. Clean through there right now as he's being pressured here by Jacob Douglas, Max Taylor, Matt Clark, and Michael Costello.
Douglas likely saw that around on the previous lap as well, so he's going to try to keep up the pressure on Liam McNeely, because if he's bouncing around and he's catching him in his rearview mirrors, he's going to drive a little bit deeper and maybe lock up that tire again. It creates an opportunity for later in the race. That's what you want to do, is create and become a distraction for the driver ahead of you that you're trying to pass.
Yeah, there's ways to pass, there's ways to overtake, and that's making the move, setting it up, late braking, whatever it may be, but there's also just putting the pressure on a driver non-stop, forcing them into a mistake. That's the best pass you can make. When you force that driver into a mistake in front of you, you're clean and green through. So lots of ways to get that done. You can be sure that Jacob Douglas will not stop putting the pressure on Liam McNeely. Early running, you see a couple drivers fighting further back in the pack there, one defending down to the inside. A couple of drivers, I believe, into pit lane. Carson Etter may be into pit lane right now. I'm looking over at live timing and see a line for him potentially into the pits. And a rough weekend for Carson Etter. Great through practice and qualifying. Was P12 in qualifying for race 1, but then clouded the wall after a wheel failure in qualifying for race 2. They weren't able to get it fixed. Some issues with the gearbox. Actually, they got it put back together, but a gearbox issue. He didn't start race number 1. They put a new gearbox in overnight. The team was there late. Now potentially into pit lane again. So not sure what happened here for Carson Etter in this. I got an update here. Looks like wing damage for Carson Etter from the start, so they're going to put a new wing on that. Perfect. Get him back out of the racetrack. Give him more track time. He may be a lap down, but give him the track time he needs as a rookie driver here in USF Pro.
Exactly. Every lap counts. There's experience to be gained every lap, especially on a challenging and difficult street circuit like the one here on the streets of Toronto, the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. I want to mention Matt Clark too, who's gained a bunch of spots since the opening. He's up to 6th place now, trying to pursue Max Taylor. So he's just that's a nice move for Matt Clark.
Yeah, +5 for Matt Clark, working his way forward. I did the same thing yesterday. I think he started 8th, got himself up to 4th, started 11th here. Now he's up to 6th. Again, good points for him. Remember, he's battling it out right now with Ariel Elkin for 2nd place in the points. That's where he wants to be. There's still money up for grabs as a big lock up there this time. Oh, there's contact there between Matt Clark and Max Taylor. And I think Taylor's going to end up in the wall. I don't know whether or not Clark was able to get through, but Taylor set it up the inside on him. Let's see whether or not Clark comes through here. I don't see him right now. He may have got stuck to the outside as well. Taylor went up the inside, and he may be in the wall in turn number 3. I don't know if it's going to be hard contact with the wall. They looked like they wound things up. They were being told that 90 was able to continue, so Matt Clark able to continue, but it could be Taylor in the wall. I expect he may be able just to back up and get back out of it. Yeah, and our spotter's telling us that both drivers able to continue. Contact with the wall, nosed it in, but they were able to get out. There's damage as well there. Yeah, there's the damage for Max Taylor. So the driver was up there battling for a spot in the top 5, overcooks it into turn number 3.
Oh yeah, you can see that Max Taylor in that pink car is moving slowly, trying to get his way back. And see, I don't know if he'll be able to continue with that wing. He'll have to make a stop along pit lane. Did not see if there was any body damage to the 90 car of Matt Clark.
Yeah, Clark all the way down into the 15th spot, so went to the very tail of the field. So remember, I just said he's in the middle of a battle for 2nd position in the championship. Taylor actually back in 6th spot, so a tough one for Clark. He's got to fight his way back forward. He'll be hoping for a yellow. Remember, we're very early in this race, only 6 laps into a 25 lapper. So both Max Garcia and Matt Clark would love to see a yellow flag to potentially give them an opportunity to work their way back up into the top 10.
Both have proven that they are fast. Garcia, the champion of the series now, and Matt Clark as well with 10 podium positions. So they've proven if the field does get bunched up with a yellow, they should be able to get a bunch of positions. As you mentioned, Matt Clark in a battle with Ariel Elkin, who's now sitting 6th behind Michael Costello.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, obviously an international field here with drivers from all over the world. We talk about Jacob Douglas from New Zealand, Ariel Elkin, Israel, Nicolas Monteiro from Brazil, Sebastian Manson, who's running 9th from New Zealand, Mexico, Canada, US. Always get a lot of people tuning in from around the world. Sometimes that's where they're from, sometimes they're traveling. Yesterday, the Hoskins family, who run in our USF Juniors program, were telling me that they were watching the broadcast from Florence, Italy. They're on a family trip to Italy. Just got a shout out from Obi Johnson, Nikita Johnson's father. They're down in the Bahamas watching right now. So always great to have these guys tuned in. Nikita Johnson, as we know, former champion in the program here. We'll see what he's able to do as we have a change for the lead right now. Frankie Mossman has gone to P1, able to find his way by Alessandro Di Tullio. And there's your new leader coming now into turn number 8. Frankie Mossman for VRD Racing goes to P1.
Oh, yes. You said Frankie Mossman would be on the move, and he is. Took a few laps, but has gotten out in front of the 44 of Alessandro Di Tullio and Liam McNeely in hot pursuit.
This potentially could be Frankie Mossman's first race win in the USF Pro Championships, and what a better place to do it than here on the streets of Toronto. He leads 8 laps in. Still a long way to go, though. 17 laps to go. It's Mossman, Di Tullio, McNeely, and Douglas. Right behind them, Michael Costello and another driver coming into pit lane. Who is that? That may be Sebastian Manson. A rough weekend gets worse for the young driver as Manson off the racetrack in the number 28 machine. Lock up, couple of drivers locking up there, coming down into turn number 3, both Pabst drivers. But for Sebastian Manson, just contact out in turn 7, contact in 11, where he just wadded it up there, and then looks to be like a mechanical here pulling into pit lane.
The photo on my Instagram this morning is of the mark on the wall that Sebastian Manson made coming out of corner number 11, and that was a significant hit that he had yesterday, and unfortunately that the troubles have continued today. But let's see what happens. As you mentioned, a long way to go, still 8 laps complete, just about coming around to complete lap number 9 with Frankie Mossman out in front, Alessandro Di Tullio, Liam McNeely, as you said yesterday, first time in these USF 2000 Pro 2000 cars, having a great run.
Yeah, let's unpack that whole deal with Liam McNeely. Driver who came over last year to run in the USF Juniors program, a GB4 graduate, did a lot of genetic juniors racing over in England. Was a rookie with Jay Howard Driver Development, came over here, finished second in USF Juniors, but like many drivers we're seeing here again this weekend, coming up to use that, do that first USF 2000 race, maybe here at Toronto, get ready for the next year. And he was qualified on the front row, on the podium during the weekend, and then wins the first 5 races in USF 2000 this year. You would expect probably on a route potentially to run himself to a championship and a scholarship. Issues with his visa getting into the U.S. They're working diligently on that to make sure he's back in 2026, but he can get into Canada. So let's try the USF Pro 2000 car. He'd never driven the car before practice on Friday, and to tell somebody to drive this car that you drove the USF 2000 car here, but we're going to give you another, let's say, I don't know, another 80 horsepower, right? We're going to give you more tires, more braking, more downforce. This kid is an absolute phenom. Liam McNeely, so impressive, great feedback, and he can just flat drive the wheels off a car. So here he is trying to, in his debut weekend on the toughest racetrack on the circuit, trying to get to the podium, and we're not done yet. So let's not say that he's not going to potentially be able to reel in and try to go for a race win.
Watching some of those drivers that have had difficulty earlier in this race, Matt Clark in the 90 has just jumped ahead of Nick Jokes, he's gone up to 13th. Max Garcia has just turned the quickest lap of the race, stuck back in 15th again, hoping maybe for a yellow, so he'll have the opportunity to climb further forward a little bit, but still keeping that streak alive of completing every lap of the season.
Yeah, Matt Clark was involved in the incident with Max Taylor early. Taylor out of the race now. Matt Clark up in the 13th spot. He's only 0.4 of a second behind Tyke Durst, so he's trying to work his way up. Another 1.6 after that up to George Garcia-Arce. So indeed, no doubt about it, Clark would love to see that yellow, as would Garcia, but drivers up front here, Mossman, DeTulio, McNeely, we're fine to go clean to green to the end to see if we can't battle it out. There's the 2 Pabst cars as well. Jacob Douglas 4th, Michael Costello 5th. So again, we talked about the incident between Matt Clark and Max Taylor. That was over in turn number 3. We're going to get a chance pretty soon here to have a look at it. Here it is here. So watch this move to the inside. This is the pass here. This is Frankie Mossman making the move to the inside. Throws it down the bottom. Whoa, he's on the brakes hard. DeTulio thinking about the over-under, can't do it. There's the brake lockup. Here comes Max Taylor throwing it to the inside. Taylor is not, he just can't get the car wound up, and Matt Clark with nowhere to go. Tough one there. Taylor made the move to the inside, couldn't get the car slowed enough to get to the apex and pushed wide, and Matt Clark on the outside, there's nothing he could do but try to woe up and potentially get back in and keep himself out of a wreck.
Exactly. Mossman did the move nicely. He completed it, got himself out in front of Alessandro DeTulio, but you're right, when you're Matt Clark at that point, you're in damage control. There is nothing you can do except try to save the race car, not go deep into those tires at the exit of corner number 3 and get yourself stuck. Turns out no wing damage, he's okay, and has been able to continue.
So that was a really good example of a well-executed overtake under braking, and one that didn't play out as planned. Mossman, you can see he's hard on the brakes, really rolling on the pressure. The car was actually almost kind of rotating in the wrong direction at one point, counterclockwise, but he was able to woe it up, and he was able to get back down to the apex, stopping DeTulio from doing the over-under, right? Because DeTulio was setting up so perfectly for the over-under. Didn't happen. Clark would have needed to really roll a lot more brake on to try to get back underneath Max Taylor.
You're right, and it's interesting when you say Mossman trying to hold onto the car, because you're right, as soon as you complete the pass in corner number 3, there is the opportunity for the racer who you've passed to jump around and get ahead of you again before you get through corner 4 and 5.
When you're taking that inside line, that more shallow entry, the car just wants to push wider. You normally have to brake more or earlier to be able to get around the corner at that point, but there is that uphill. You have a little bit of the pressure climbing up the hill from 3 over to turn number 4. So Mossman, DeTulio, McNeely 1, 2, 3, Douglas in the 4 spot, Costello 5th, Elkin 6th, Montiero 7th, Logan Adams back up into the 8th position. Good recovery after the incident yesterday. Both Adams and Costello are running inside the top 10 when contact happened over in turn number 1. Costello 5th, Adams now in the 8th spot, started 12th, so +4 for Logan. Cooper Becklin now in 9th, and George Garcia-Arce up into 10th. Matt Clark, Todd, able to get by Tyke Durst. He is right on top of Brady Golan right now, and in fact, only about a second behind George Garcia-Arce. Clark would very likely be able to get to 10th. because we're only past the halfway point, but then it's almost 5.5 seconds up to George Garcia, or rather up to Cooper Beckley.
In fact, it's just gotten around Brady Golan to move up into 11th position, and this is where that yellow flag is going to become necessary to try to bunch this field up. Matt Clark will be in damage control right now. He understands that Ariel Elkin, who he's battling with in the championship, currently running 6th behind Michael Costello. So Matt Clark is trying to get as many positions as he can. Hopefully a yellow will come out. That will benefit him. He'll be able to jump a few more spots.
Yeah, like I said, 100% the guys up front do not want to see that yellow at all. Some kind of a fire going on outside the racetrack there. You can see the smoke pluming up from the outside of turn number 7. I'm sure the fire crew will be on that pretty quickly. But Mossman, DeTulio, McNeely, well, I would say Mossman would probably like to see a green race to the very end. I don't know that DeTulio, I think McNeely would love to see the yellow as well. Bring me back into this. These guys are pulling away from me. I'd be more than happy to stack them and repack them one more time to have that attack into turn number 1. But right now it's Mossman and DeTulio. Alessandro DeTulio feels like he's mounting a charge once again. 4/10 quicker on that last lap. So DeTulio just turned his fastest lap, and he's going to take a run here down the straightaway, going to try to leverage that draft. Remember, if you're trackside here as an IndyCar fan, we don't have push to pass. It's all about doing what the car will do, leveraging the draft. We don't have that little bit of extra turbo, that extra boost we can give these drivers. They got to do it all on their own.
That's what this series is about, is giving the drivers the tools to learn that racecraft, to learn the ability to set up a pass. Alessandro DeTulio has followed behind Frankie Mossman for a couple of laps now, so he's had the opportunity to see where he may be better, which corner he might be able to set up a pass in the closing laps around this race. And Liam McNeely has given up a little bit of ground in front of those first 2 runners, but is also still staying in pretty close contact.
Still, it will be when they come back around here now, 10 laps remaining to cap off the USF Pro Championships component of this year's Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. All part of the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto. Our drivers here in USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Mossman, 109 flat last time by out. DeTulio 109.3. He had closed back up a little bit. So being told, and actually one of the area buildings on fire over in the outside of the racetrack there, so that is a concern. No doubt local firefighters will be en route to that. So just to give you, those of you watching at home and seeing the fire over there, the issue is being dealt with, we're being told. Mossman, DeTulio, McNeely, Douglas, Costello. Matt Clark up into 10th, able to get by both Brady Golan and George Garcia Arce. Last time by a half a second quicker than Logan Adams. He is 4.7 seconds back. It would take about 10 laps to get there. He's got 10 laps to do it. So maybe not done yet with another spot for Matt Clark, but nonetheless working his way up into the 10th position. Remember, his driver he's battling in the championship for P2 is Ariel Elkin. He's only 3 points in front. He's going to lose some spots here as Elkin currently runs 6th. Also in the championship fight, DeTulio, he's 2nd. And then Jacob Douglas as well. Now they're more significantly back, but we are definitely packing things up here. 2nd back to P5 with just 2 races to go at Portland International Raceway in the middle of August before we cap off our championships. And again, we already know that Max Garcia's got this locked and loaded. He is only a half a second behind Matt Clark right now, so those 2 drivers working together coming forward. Garcia runs in 11th, Matt Clark in 10th. But this is the battle for the lead right here. Frankie Mossman and Alessandro DeTulio. Mossman looking for that breakthrough race win here in Toronto.
Just pulled out his fastest lap to increase the gap to about 0.7 of a second last time by, ahead of Alessandro DeTulio. Liam McNeely a little further back, continuously running in 3rd. Jacob Douglas also just posted his fastest lap, 4th. It's Michael Costello running 5th.
There's a testament to the Continental Tires, right? They have a long-lasting grip level for these racers. The temperature's coming up a little bit, 73 degrees trackside. It was a little cooler when we started in USF 2000. They've cleaned some of the moisture all off the racetrack here now, so the drivers continue to hammer down here. Not sure what that was. Looks like a rag or something.
Looks like a rag.
On the right at start-finish line. But the cars are getting lighter and lighter as well. They're burning off that fuel. Frankie Mossman, a young driver looking to grab that first race win. How big would this be at a Newport Beach, California? Still does a lot of go-kart racing as well. Next week he'll be down at the Superkarts USA Summer Nationals. He's been running a bunch of different races in karting as well. So Frankie Mossman will be back with the Speed Concepts Racing team at that event in Newcastle, Indiana. So he's going to go right from here, right to that karting event next weekend. Does he go as a race winner in USF Pro 2000? Massive for this young driver who has already one time, Todd, tested at Indy Next Car. He tested at the Chris Griffiths Memorial Test at Indianapolis in October. So he's been behind the wheel of the next car already, got a taste for it, really likes it, would like to go back. Now, he's not in championship contention. He's not going to grab a scholarship. But a race win here in front of the IndyCar and Indy Next team owners, well, maybe that plays a little bit into the ride you could potentially pick up for 2026.
Funny how race wins always get the attention of team owners. Frankie Mossman and Alessandro DiTullio continue their battle. DiTullio just turning his fastest lap to close that gap down to about a half a second. It's almost become two separate battles between the first and second, and Liam McNeely is feeling a little bit of pressure now from Jacob Douglas, but he also tries to go a little bit faster in this last lap.
Yeah, Douglas trying to use that draft, got to get back up to see if he can't pressure McNeely into the brake lockup. Remember, we saw a brake lockup already. He dealt with it yesterday. That thing was locked up so much, kept hitting that flat spot. It was down to the cords when I went and saw it later. Crazy stuff for sure. So indeed, this is going to be a good battle. Got a couple races. Here's the battle for first and second. There's third and fourth. Right now, Costello, I believe, by himself in the fifth spot. No, he's got Ariel Elkin on. So we got a battle for first, for third, and for fifth. Here's the battle for first and second. There's third and fourth. And you're going to see this one coming around. They've got enough of a gap there right now. It's a significant gap of over 2 seconds. Costello versus Ariel Elkin. Again, watching Matt Clark, he's 1.8 seconds behind, a full second faster than Logan Adams on that last lap. Matt Clark up on the wheel in the home race here, trying to put on a show. Still, lap 19 goes in the books. 6 laps remaining here.
Liam McNeely last time feeling a little bit of heat from Jacob Douglas, just turns in his fastest lap on lap 19 to increase that gap just a little bit. So the head-to-head battles are forming at the front of this field for first and second between Mossman and DiTullio. And there you see third place runner Liam McNeely being pursued by Jacob Douglas.
Just a little update we're getting from race control. We do see that there is that fire in the building. It is off-site, I'm told. We obviously are getting a little bit of smoke cover here right now outside of turn number 6, but that building is off-site. So indeed, ideally, the local firefighting teams have already arrived on the scene to take care of that blaze. But at this point, the fire, it is heating up front as well. The battle between Frankie Mossman and Alessandro DiTullio. This is where a driver like Mossman goes back to all those races that he's won in kart racing. Everything he's won when the victories have come, where you get into that zone. And that's what it is, Todd. You get in that zone. You know you're getting pressure, but you're trying to hit every mark. And Liam McNeely again. A tank slapper coming out of turn number 11. Here comes Jacob Douglas. He's going to try to take advantage of it. McNeely to the inside. Watch the over-under coming from Douglas. Does he tuck it to the bottom? Not quite. But this is going to be a drive as they get all the way down into turn number 3. Jacob Douglas trying to get back on the podium again. McNeely is going to defend to the inside. You cannot move in defense. Here comes Douglas to the outside. The Kiwi looking to try to go to P3. Big run down into turn 3. Both of them are going to lock up in a big way. Douglas going to try the over-under again. Oh, Todd, this is good stuff for P3.
Great action for that final spot on the podium. Liam McNeely had a little trouble coming out of corner number 11, saved it, but it gave Jacob Douglas the opportunity to run up close. Pushed him as hard as he could through one, all the way down Lakeshore Boulevard. Big lockup as he was forced to go around the outside in corner number 3. Could not get the pass done, but still in the tire tracks of Liam McNeely.
Just didn't have enough, right? He had to have a more shallow entry getting out of the corner of turn 1, so it didn't quite have that terminal velocity coming down. They were side by side and really not much you could do. I think he was trying to play kind of a game of chicken there. Which driver's going to release first? Who's going to get on the brakes earlier? Who can go deeper? Well, they both locked up tires, so essentially both drivers were pretty adamant that they were going to be the deeper driver. Here comes another over-under. Oh, I like this here. Oh, again. Douglas is just putting it on here right now. This is good stuff with 4 laps remaining. Excellent racing right now. Max Garcia's actually been able to get by Matt Clark, and Garcia's by Logan Adams as well. So that's a 3-driver battle back for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Garcia up into 9th, Clark 11th as he's trying to go to work on Logan Adams as well. That's a good scrap there, just inside the top 10. But we're not looking at that right now because the battle up front is so good here. This is the fight for third.
Full defensive mode for Liam McNeely right now, holding off the charge of Jacob Douglas so far with 21 laps down, but that pressure will only increase in these closing laps. Jacob Douglas is doing a great job trying to force Liam McNeely into a mistake. It's what we talked about a little bit earlier in this race. Fill the mirrors of your competitor. Move from side to side. He's looked at the outside. He's shown his nose up the inside as well, and if your competitor doesn't know where you're headed, that makes them vulnerable.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, McNeely a little better through turn 11 that last time, but man, he had a full tank slapper on that last lap before where Douglas tried to take advantage of it. Douglas does a little look. That's what we talked about. Fill those mirrors, maybe sell the dummy to the inside. Again, always trying to see if you get your teammate maybe to just look off guard, look into the mirror when they should be thinking more about the braking zone or looking to the entry point. Can you get them to miss it by maybe a foot and a half? DeTulio's closed up on Mossman as well. 3 laps remaining. We're going to have a battle here. These are two drivers, Todd, that will go for it if there's an opportunity. I'm just going to throw that out here right now. Frankie Mossman, Alessandro DeTulio. You still take either of these drivers, put them in the national karting circuit in North America right now, they'll be racing for wins. That's how good both of these drivers are. Not only here running in the USF Pro program, but also in competitive karting. Mossman's still running a lot of kart racing events. DeTulio now more of a coach and a mentor for a lot of young drivers in the sport. He's focusing fully on the car racing program. Mossman wants to keep in the wheel, behind the wheel in the seat. So both these young drivers could put on a battle, whether it's here in Toronto or on any major karting event in North America.
Completed lap number 23, and Alessandro DeTulio just turned his fastest lap of the race, cutting that gap to about 0.3 of a second, right in the tire tracks coming through too. Maybe this is the time that he looks up the inside of quarter number 3 after that long run down Lakeshore.
Being told that Liam McNeely is going to get a penalty for blocking. He has to give up the spot to Jacob Douglas, and that's the pressure we're talking about. 2 laps remaining, right back onto the battle here. This is the fight for the race lead. Douglas is going to be able to go around McNeely. He's got to give it up for the block, and that was the pressure that Douglas did. That's, again, the easiest way to get an overtake. Pressure your driver up front to try to block you or defend. You're not allowed to move in defense. If a driver behind you makes the first move, you can't come across in retaliation. So indeed, Douglas is going to go to P3, but McNeely, if he's got it, he can fight back at it. But here we go. Final lap. Does fast Frankie Mossman come away with his first USF Pro 2000 victory? Both these young drivers ready to duke it out. DeTulio, as we know, trying to get himself into the top 3 in points, currently P4. Here's the white flag. 1 to go. They'll race their way down to 1. DeTulio's going to send it to the inside, and he goes to the bottom, book it. Oh, he's touched the wall. He taps the wall on the outside. Is there damage? Mossman's going to come after him. He sent it to the inside of 1, but got loose on the exit. Touched the wall with the left rear. Here comes Mossman as well. Oh my goodness. Given the strength of that Tatis equipment, I can't believe there's not a bent suspension. Here comes Mossman trying to big over-under. Does he get a better run? We are not done here yet. I told you that DeTulio would do it. Big defense to the bottom. Here goes Mossman back to the inside of turn 5. They're going to be side by side coming through the corner as well. Back to turn number 6. Mossman had to check up. DeTulio may come away with the victory here. Mossman threw it at him. 8 would have been another shot, but a defensive run to the inside. Douglas more than happy to come up to try to fight with them. I don't know that there's any more shot. At this point here, Alessandro DeTulio with a full send mode into turn number 1 could come away with the race win. He's got it right now. The left rear still holding on. I don't know how it did. Out of turn number 11, the winner today in race 2 for USF Pro 2000, ADT, Alessandro DeTulio wins in Toronto. DeTulio for turn 3 Motorsports with the win. What a last lap pass. It was late, and he threw it to the bottom, and Mossman could do nothing but check up and hope for an over-under. Mossman ends up finishing in 2nd. Jacob Douglas in 3rd. Liam McNeely in 4th. 5th, Ariel Elkin. 6th, Michael Costello. 7th, Nicholas Montiero. 8th, Cooper Becklin. From the tail of the field after the spin and contact in turn number 4, Max Garcia fights his way back to 9th, continuing the streak of laps finished. And Matt Clark, after the contact between he and Taylor, Clark gets by Logan Adams on the final circuit to go to P10.
What a race. What a race. That was sensational action with these USF Pro 2000 drivers.
So Todd, a battle for 1st and 2nd, a battle for 3rd and 4th, fights that we didn't see back for 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's everything you want.
Max Garcia goes all the way to the back of the field after trouble on the first lap, climbs back for a top 10 finish. Matt Clark had moved forward a bunch of spots. He gets tangled up with Max Taylor. He winds up going to the back of the field, but also fights his way back for a top 10.
And you know, it looked to me like both DeTulio and Mossman got great exits out of turn number 11 to get that white flag, but DeTulio just said, you know what, I'm going for it, turned in early, sent it down the inside, and that big drift, tapping the wall, listen, another inch, and that's rear suspension damage. So the luck factor is there for Alessandro DeTulio, but Mossman second, Jacob Douglas third.
What a great finish for Alessandro DeTulio. Full send down the inside of corner number 1 to get ahead of Frankie Mossman. He had trailed in his tire tracks for 19 laps, but unable to hold on in that last lap, and DeTulio gets just enough of the outside wall to almost straighten out the car just a little bit. Frankie Mossman pressured him as much as he could on that final lap, but could not get ahead. Jacob Douglas, because of the penalty, but he was all over Liam McNeely and took over the final spot. Let's go back to Rob, who's going to speak with our podium finishers.
You know, what a run that was for Alessandro DeTulio. Sends it to the inside of turn number 1. Both these drivers wanted that victory. Frankie Mossman made a fantastic pass to get the job done over in turn 3, but man, what a battle over the last couple of laps. Here comes DeTulio. Hasn't won since the start of the season, and they are pumped here in Toronto. What an incredible drive. You see the emotion on the face of Alessandro DeTulio, the team coming in, dad's coming in. This is what this is all about. These young drivers trying to put on a show here. Peter Dempsey, team owner, coming in as well. Rasmuth Lint, driver coach. The crew is pumped up for this one for DeTulio. Good stuff. Work my way around the back. You'll get a chance to talk with Alessandro. Alessandro, let's grab you real quickly here. What a fantastic drive. I said on the broadcast, we could have put you and Mossman at a go-kart track, and you'd be doing exactly the same thing in any major national event. How important is it for you to get that victory?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I can't curse them. A lot of emotions. We had a strong start to the season, and we had some setbacks that weren't really in our control. You know, we found what was setting us back throughout the season, starting in Indy, and clearly we showed the pace to be back here. And then we had that issue yesterday with the engine, and then I got taken out. But you know, it's finally so great to bounce back. Can't thank the team enough. They've worked so hard for this. Like I said, if it weren't for the problems that were in our control this year, we would have been in the title fight all year, no problem. But it is what it is. It's motorsports.
Let's quickly talk about that pass. You both got great runs out of turn number 11, but that just had to be a flick of that switch. You went full send in turn number 1. And do you know how hard you hit the wall on the outside?
Yeah, I hit the wall and I had the wheel bent the whole last lap. So I was just holding on at that point. But I mean, great job to Frankie as well. He drove an amazing race and raced me very clean, and I raced him clean back. So yeah, we put on a good show.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Go celebrate with the team, 100%. Where's Frankie Mossman? Let's get him in here as well. Frankie, come on in. We'll get Frankie over here momentarily. We'll get the camera to come up and join us here as well. Frankie Mossman, those are tough ones. You've won a lot of karting events over your career. You were trying to get that first 2000 race. The pass first was a fantastic one. How tough is it for you right now to come up P2 today?
Yeah, it definitely hurts, you know. I mean, I haven't stood on the podium all year. We had a tough season so far. But the team's been doing a really perfect job getting me all together, and I feel like I'm learning so much every single weekend. And I mean, we're going and showing it. Like when I step on, I think we're close to unbeatable. You know, I think we're a little bit hurt, you know, not having the tire advantage there, and they had it on us. But you know, I tried my best. You know, it's really important to drive your best on the last lap and not the first 24. And I messed up on that part. So you know, I'm going to take what I learned into Portland, and hopefully we go win both races. Still a breakout race for you. To be up front like that pass in turn 3, absolutely impressive. Yeah, thank you. Well done. Frankie Mossman, folks, coming home P2. Let's get Jacob Douglas in here as well. JD, come on in. I know everybody watching back home in New Zealand. Jacob Douglas, congratulations, man. I know you wanted more, but the podium finishes are racking up for you right now. What a great run here in Toronto.
Yeah, no, good recovery after we qualified P6 yesterday. Struggled a little bit at the start, but once the car got going, we were really fast, managed to reel in P3. and yeah, get by him. And unfortunately, the leaders were a bit far gone at that point, but I wish I could have been in the battle for it. But we'll take some good points and a trophy, and we'll go to Portland, one of my favorite tracks, and try to get some wins.
And you've won there before.
Yeah, I got my first win there in 2000, so hopefully we can finish the year strong.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jacob Douglas, folks, coming home P3 today. Great drive. Let's head on over, folks, to Victory Lane. We'll bring all these drivers and get some awards handed out. All right, folks, let's get things underway right now with the podium presentation for the drivers here in the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto, capping off 2 races for the USF Pro 2000 category. Remember, these drivers just 2 steps away from the NTT IndyCar Series. This is where Kyle Kirkwood was, Pato O'Ward, all the drivers you're talking about now, Louis Foster, Christian Rasmussen, all in this program just a couple of years ago. Let's get started and celebrate the success of these young drivers finishing in 3rd spot today. Give it up for Jacob Douglas for Pabst Racing. Robert Cobat will come on up here with us, one of our guests from Continental Tire Canada, to present the 3rd place trophy for Jacob Douglas. Another great run. Second half of the season momentum for this young driver out of New Zealand. A 3rd place finish here today. You obviously saw it from the emotion as well. Every one of these young drivers wants to win so badly to get their career moving up into the Indy Next program. Finishing in 2nd, folks. What a fantastic drive today from VRD Racing. Fast, Frankie Mossman. Jeff Burns going to come up there with that P2 trophy. Excellent work for Frankie today. Just that little miscue he said in the interview, stopping him from getting that race win, but nonetheless a fantastic drive. Big one here though. Last lap pass to come for the race win, trying to go for P2 in the championship still, folks. Give it up for the driver here, the winner today for Turn 3 Motorsports, Alessandro Tullio. Sandra Da Silva, who's going to come up here to present the P1 trophy. What a run there for Tullio today. Such great work by these drivers up front. The battles for 1st, for 3rd, for 5th. There was just racing all the way through. Max Garcia coming back after contact early to work his way up into the top 10. Matt Clark did the same thing. But these 3 young drivers here, again, just a couple of steps away from IndyCar. They all want to be moving to the Indy Next Series. The talent is absolutely stacked in this USF Pro category this year. Champagne, of course, waiting in the wings. We'll bring that out here momentarily. Again, champagne waiting in the wings for the celebration for the drivers here in our USF Pro 2000 category. Tell everybody that the 5 of the last 7 champions in this category running IndyCar here this weekend. Renus VK, Kyle Kirkwood, Stingray Robb, Christian Rasmussen, Louis Foster, all former champions of this program. Pato O'Ward won a bunch of races but didn't come away with the title. And he's, of course, a superstar in IndyCar, as we know. Let's get our guests here from Continental Tire Canada up and have a photo with our top 3 here today in USF Pro 2000. Man, 2 exciting races. USF 2000 was a barn burner, as we know. Same goes for this one. These young drivers just hanging it out everywhere on this racetrack. That's what it takes to be fast here in Toronto, and that's one of the keys to this program is we really teach these young drivers everything. They have to develop all their skills to see if they have what it takes to eventually make it to IndyCar, to be in the big show here on Sunday afternoon coming. All that's left to cap things off is to bring out the Fielding Estate Winery bubbly for the champagne celebrations. Again, drivers getting a little more smiley here right now. The sting of not grabbing that victory softening a little bit, but they are all unbelievably talented drivers. Great job for Alessandro DiTullio. But again, the champagne getting set to come. Yeah, boys, that's real. Wait till he works his way back here. Let's get Sue off the podium. All right, guys, let's have some fun here. Grip it and rip it. The champagne celebration. DiTullio coming away with the race win. Great job for Frankie Mossman finishing in second. Jacob Douglas in third. Folks around here, one more time, how to a round of applause for my 3 drivers here today in USF Pro 2000. Alessandro DiTullio going after the team. And a great run for Frankie Mossman to P2. Jacob Douglas at another podium here for Pabst Racing. What a tremendous race here at the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto. Those of you here at the racetrack, thank you so much for coming and joining us here at Victory Lane. Those of you back home watching, wherever you are around the country and around the world, hope you enjoyed the broadcast and all the coverage here from Toronto. It has been a stellar weekend for sure. USF Juniors back on track next weekend with the event at Road America, and we'll cap it all off at Portland International Raceway in the middle of August, our finale weekend for this year's USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. Over $1.4 million in awards and scholarships handed out at that event, and all those drivers set to go and start focusing towards 2026. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.